Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on Play on GAA. Today myself and Luke are going to be doing a review of the Tipperary versus Kilkenny game from the Allianz Hurling League Round 2. It finished Tipperary a goal in 19, Kilkenny a goal in 18. Crucial in the victory for Tipperary, 5 points from play for Jason Ford, who was at centre forward but dropped deep and hit a lot of points over from long range. Kilkenny and Tip, it was a real kind of back and forth game, but Tipperary get the win in the end. Luke, what did you make of them?
Yeah, look, this was a really kind of strange game. I think the first half, I think a lot of people were taken back by the fact that Tip actually lined up with a sweeper and that Alan Flynn was kind of sweeping around more so. And nearly in a way, Kilkenny kind of matched them a little bit. And Niall Brassel just kind of sat in the pocket and they just kind of allowed, they dropped bodies back and then kind of play with a few less forwards, and a lot of people in the crowd weren't really happy with it. And the first half was it was nearly a dull enough kind of encounter, but then in the second half I really think it kicked into life. And I know a lot of people were unhappy with the style of play for both teams because it's different for them, but I thought it was a fantastic spectacle in the second half in particular. And although I wouldn't be taking a huge amount of positives from Tip, even though they got the win. I think there were definitely aspects of it that they'll be very pleased with, and a few new players that do look like very, very promising promising players for later in the year. But I think it was a good encounter, and ultimately could have went either way in the end. But I suppose we're going to get into a few of the individuals themselves now in a bit. But it's just entertaining enough there. And I don't think either team will probably be too concerned about how it's finished up in the end. But it's all just about development for later in the year. Definitely two teams in transition.
Yeah, without doubt. And you mentioned, of course, about the young lads making impressions for Tipperary. You know, it's been a much talked about topic about all this young talent that Tipperary have coming through for years, the likes of Paddy Cadell, etc. But which players really caught your eye over the weekend?
Well, I suppose I'll start off with Tipperary. I think Craig Morgan and Quirk at wing back as well. I think Dylan Quirk. I think they were the two big ones, and it's nearly funny in a way that a lot of people have been talking about the forward options to come through for Tip, that it's actually the backs that have emerged, and they look to be two really good options. And I think you can nearly pencil Craig Morgan in a cornerback for the rest of the year. I think he's going to be there for a long, long time. And so between himself and Carl Barrett in the corners, I think that's rock solid, and that's solved straight away. So I think they'll be happy with that. And look, as the game went on, I suppose the winning of it for Tipperary was Carl Barrett's kind of how he rose to the occasion in the second half. Ronan Mara came on, I suppose, for about the last about 25 minutes, and he just won every single ball that came near him, and then Cathal Barrett swept up the rest. And it was nearly as good a cornerback display from Cathal Barrett I'd seen in a long, long time. I thought he was absolutely superb. So I think defensively Tip will be delighted with it, and just need to kind of unearth a few new forwards, because I think the scoring was that was probably the concern, I think, based off this week.
Yeah, and as for Kilkenny, of course, without their Ballyhale contingent, I mean, no Owen Cody, no TJ Reid, no Adrian Mullen, etc. But what did you make of them?
Yeah, I think Cody would be actually very happy with this, and I think they showed an awful lot. I think the first of all, the really interesting one is the way Pádraig Walsh has been moved to centre half forward. And look, I think the only way he'd play wing back this year or centre half back is just out of necessity, because he looked absolutely superb at centre half forward. He scored 4 from play, and he was at the centre of everything good that Kilkenny did, and nearly led that comeback by himself. So, if Kilkenny can afford to play him centre half forward and then move maybe TJ further in and everything as well, I think that's absolutely what they're going to do. It's just a question of whether they've enough in the half back line to actually play him there. So look, I think that's a really interesting point. And if they can play him there, I think he could be a really top half forward in there as well. It's just kind of to briefly touch on the new players as well. Really good to see Niall Brassel get a run in centre half back. I think he'd be happy enough with his showing, kind of as a sweeping centre half back. David Blanchfield beside him looks really, really good. He's got the size, he's got the aerial ability and everything as well. And lastly, I'll go Cian Kenny. I think is a really great option in midfield. He kind of became famous, I think, for he kind of went viral online with all of his kind of the skill videos and the hand passes and everything like that as well. And look, all those skills were evident in the game as well. He loves to kind of to demonstrate what he's capable of, but just in a general sense as well, Toddy added an awful lot to that midfield for Kilkenny. And I think himself and Paddy Deegan, that could well be the midfield line later in the year for championship, because they look really, really good together. And so I think just for Cody, look, with that display there as well, missing the entire Ballyhale contingent, I'd say there'll be about 6 Ballyhale players starting from later in the year. I think he'll be delighted with the showing there. And you know, I don't think I think even after that, I think Kilkenny are in a better place right now than Tip, even despite the result.
Yeah, I can definitely see how you think that, because I mean Kilkenny are in transition just like Tipperary. So this result not too important, especially, you know, every team is looking at the championship later on in the year, and obviously with the victory over Antrim, and then they probably will beat Laois, Kilkenny are safe. So it's just about finding the new talent to help them out for Championship 2022. Guys, that is the Play on GAA match review. It finished Tipperary 119, Kilkenny 118. So victory there for Tipperary. Back-to-back wins for Colin Bonner in the league as Tipperary boss. Don't forget to look at all of our content across the channel. Like, subscribe, comment and share. And until the next video, guys, take care.